My biggest failure? Bombing the audition. Completely. I had always loved theater, the lights, the costumes, the way the audience held their breath. It was magic. My dream was Broadway. I practiced for months, poured my heart into every line. The audition was a disaster. My voice cracked, I forgot my lines, I wanted to disappear. Rejection stung, but this was worse. This felt like I had failed myself. The experience shook me. It made me question everything. Was I good enough? Was I chasing the wrong dream? The doubt was crippling. Since I was a little girl, I had been drawn to the stage. The allure of the bright lights, the applause, and the magic of storytelling captivated me from a very young age. I remember my first performance vividly. I was just 5 years old playing a tiny role in a school play. The thrill of being on stage, even for a brief moment, was indescribable. It was then that I knew, deep in my heart, that the stage was where I belonged. The community theater in my hometown was my second home. It was a modest place, but to me, it was a palace of dreams. Every corner of that theater held a memory, from the dusty backstage area to the creaky old seats that had seen countless performances. It was there that I learned the basics of acting, the importance of teamwork, and the joy of bringing a story to life. I loved the camaraderie, the creativity, the feeling of becoming someone else for a few hours. The friendships I made there were unlike any other. We were a family bound together by our shared passion for the stage. We laughed, we cried, and we supported each other through every high and low. Those moments backstage, filled with nervous excitement and last-minute preparations, were some of the best times of my life. My parents, bless their hearts, were incredibly supportive. They saw the spark in my eyes and did everything they could to nurture it. They were my biggest cheerleaders, always encouraging me to follow my dreams. Their unwavering belief in me gave me the strength to keep going, even when things got tough. They drove me to countless rehearsals, helped me build sets, and sat through every single performance, no matter how small the role. They were there for every triumph and every disappointment, always ready with a hug or a word of encouragement. Their dedication and love were the foundation of my journey. They believed in my dream, even when I started to doubt myself. There were times when the road seemed too difficult, when the rejections piled up and the future looked uncertain. But my parents never wavered. They reminded me of my passion, of the little girl who fell in love with the stage, and they pushed me to keep going. When I graduated high school, I knew exactly what I wanted to do: move to New York City and pursue acting professionally. It was a daunting decision, leaving behind everything I knew to chase a dream in the big city, but I was determined. The energy of New York, the endless opportunities, and the chance to be a part of something bigger fueled my ambition. I landed a few small roles, mostly off-Broadway productions, but I was determined to make it big. Each role, no matter how small, was a step closer to my dream. I poured my heart and soul into every performance, always striving to improve, to learn, and to grow as an actress. The journey was tough, filled with long hours and fierce competition, but I never lost sight of my goal. The audition that went so wrong was supposed to be my big break. I had prepared for weeks, rehearsing my lines until they were perfect. But when the moment came, nerves got the better of me. I stumbled over my words and the casting directors' faces fell. It was a crushing blow, but it was also a lesson. Every setback was a chance to learn, to grow stronger, and to keep pushing forward. My dream was still alive, and I was more determined than ever to make it a reality. After the disastrous audition, I could barely get out of bed. The shame was overwhelming. I felt like a complete and utter failure. My dreams were shattered. My friends and family tried to be supportive, but they didn't understand the depth of my despair. How could they? This wasn't just a job interview gone wrong, it was a rejection of my deepest passion. I spent weeks in a fog of self-pity and doubt. I questioned everything, my talent, my choices, my future. The thought of ever stepping on a stage again filled me with dread. Just when I was about to give up on everything, I received an unexpected email. A local community center was offering a writing workshop, and they needed volunteers to help facilitate group discussions. At first I hesitated. Writing? That wasn't my thing. But something about the email resonated with me. Maybe it was the chance to connect with people, to share stories, to find a creative outlet that didn't involve stage fright. I decided to give it a try. I figured I had nothing to lose. The first few workshops were awkward and uncomfortable. I felt rusty, unsure of myself. But as the weeks went by, something shifted. In the writing workshop, I discovered a different kind of stage. It wasn't a stage with bright lights and an audience waiting in anticipation, but a more intimate setting where words held power and meaning, a stage where vulnerability was celebrated, not feared. Here, the raw and unfiltered truth was the star of the show, and every voice mattered. A stage where authenticity was the most captivating performance. The more genuine and heartfelt the story, the more it resonated with everyone in the room. I started sharing my own stories, my own struggles, my own experiences with failure and self-doubt. It was terrifying at first, but also incredibly liberating. To my surprise, people connected with my words. They saw parts of themselves in my stories, and that created a bond, a sense of shared humanity. They laughed, they cried, they shared their own stories in return. It was a beautiful exchange of emotions and experiences, a true testament to the power of storytelling. For the first time since the audition, I felt a spark of joy. Not just any joy, but a profound sense of connection and fulfillment. Not the fleeting thrill of applause, but a deeper sense of purpose. I realized that my words had the power to touch lives, to make a difference. I realized that my story, even the messy, painful parts, had value. It was a revelation that changed the way I saw myself and my experiences. It could connect with others, inspire them, maybe even help them feel less alone in their own struggles. In that workshop, I found my voice, and with it, a new sense of purpose and belonging. The writing workshop wasn't just a creative outlet, it was a turning point in my life. It taught me that failure wasn't the opposite of success. It was a stepping stone. It was an opportunity to learn, to grow, to discover new paths. I embraced my vulnerability, my imperfections, my messy, complicated self. And in doing so, I found my voice. Not the voice I thought I was supposed to have, but my own, authentic voice. I started writing more, sharing my stories online, giving talks about the power of vulnerability and the importance of embracing failure. To my surprise, people resonated with my message. I found a new audience, a new stage, a new purpose. Looking back, I realized that the audition that I perceived as my biggest failure was actually my greatest gift. It was a moment that shattered my confidence, but it also opened my eyes to new possibilities. I was forced to dig deep, to find strength I didn't know I had. It forced me to confront my fears, to reevaluate my dreams, to discover a path I never would have found otherwise. The journey was not easy, but it was necessary. Each step I took, each decision I made brought me closer to understanding my true self. Failure is not the enemy. It's a stepping stone, a crucial part of the process. Without it, we remain stagnant, never pushing the boundaries of what we can achieve. It's an inevitable part of life, a catalyst for growth, a teacher disguised as a setback. Embrace the fall, learn from it. Each fall is a lesson, a chance to grow stronger and wiser, rise stronger, wiser, more resilient. Every time you get back up, you prove to yourself that you are capable of overcoming anything. What are you afraid of failing at? What is holding you back from taking that leap of faith? Fear is a natural response, but it should never be a barrier. What dreams are you holding back from? What passions are you suppressing because of the fear of failure? Remember, every great achievement started with a risk. Remember, the greatest risk is not taking one at all. The comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. Step outside your comfort zone. Embrace the unknown. It's in the unknown that we find our true potential, our true selves. And never, ever be afraid to fall. Each fall is a step towards success, a step towards becoming the person you are meant to be, because it's in the falling that we learn to fly. Embrace the fall, for it is the beginning of your flight.